Stations, if you encounter any technical issues related to this baseball game broadcast, please call our trouble hotline at 573-893-7477. Mark 4 minutes until airtime for this live show broadcast. Your next time cue will come with 3 minutes until airtime on the Georgia Southern Sports Network. Mark 3 minutes until airtime for this live show broadcast. Your next time cue will come with 2 minutes until airtime on the Georgia Southern Sports Network. Your next time cue will come with 2 minutes until airtime. Stations, if you encounter any technical issues related to this live show broadcast, please call our trouble hotline at 573-893-7477. Mark 2 minutes until airtime for this live show broadcast. Studio producers, when you hear, please start your archive recording. Your next time cue will come with 1 minute until airtime for today's live show broadcast on the Georgia Southern Sports Network. Stations, we are coming up on 1 minute until airtime. 1 minute in 5, 4, 3, 2, Mark. 1 minute, stations. 1 minute until airtime for this live show broadcast. Studios, when you hear, please start your archive recording. Coming up on 30 seconds until airtime, on my mark. Mark, 30 seconds. Your next and final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds. Have fun.
The following is a presentation of the Georgia Southern Sports Network. Powered by Learfield, this is Hail Southern Live on the Georgia Southern Sports Network.
Go to the pistol formation for the plus 47. There goes Jalen White again, up the numbers, 25, 20,
Southern Live is presented by Morris Bank. Bleed Blue, Bank Blue. Morris Bank member FDIC. Also brought to you by the Georgia Lottery. Today could be the day. Macon Occupational Medicine. The health of your business may depend on us. And by the Savannah Airport Commission with the Savannah Hilton Head International Airport. Make sure to tweet your questions to @GS Sports Network. Now let's return live from Wild Wing Cafe in Statesboro. Here's your host, the voice of the Eagles, Danny Reed.
Nation, it is great to see you again one more time back at Wild Wing Cafe in Statesboro. This is Hail Southern Live, presented each week by Morris Bank on the Georgia Southern Sports Network, powered by Learfield. Off the Georgia Southern football bye week, plenty to talk about with this Saturday's matchup against South Alabama. Eagles still within contention for an East Division championship. Jaguars, though, a worthy adversary. They're 6-2, 3-1 in conference play. 4 o'clock is the kickoff from Paulson Stadium on Saturday, as the culmination of Hall of Fame weekend. Also, salute to service will be on the air at 2 o'clock with the Cutwater Spirits tailgate show featuring Frank, Russ, and Terry. How about a big congratulations to Georgia Southern Women's Soccer, first ever regular season championship, winning the Sun Belt Conference. They've got the 1 seed. They're on their way to Foley. They'll get their first matchup on Wednesday. Chris Adams was named Coach of the Year earlier today. Sade Heinrichs, Defensive Player of the Year, along with first-team selection. Ellis Nemtsov was first-team selection, and Katie Oakley, the second-team goalkeeper. As the Eagles will look to take home the hardware from Foley. We'll have a full recap on that next week. Going to talk a little bit of Eagle baseball our first couple of segments. If you have any questions, you can submit those on Facebook Live. You can also tweet us at GS Sports Network. Just finished up the Fall World Series over at J.I. Clements Stadium last weekend. Give it up for head coach Rodney Hennon to Hail Southern Live at Wild Wing Cafe. What's going on, Skipper?
Well, it's great to be here tonight, Danny, and appreciate you having me on. Great to see Eagle Nation out here at Wild Wing Cafe on a Halloween night.
Yeah, we're usually a couple of months shy of us talking on a daily basis, but it's nice to get you on, especially considering how successful the Fall World Series was last weekend.
Yeah, you know, that's always a great way to cap off the fall. You know, the guys work so hard year-round, and, you know, we have a tradition of finishing up fall practice with a little bit of a draft. We have our staff split up and draft teams, some of the younger guys on staff, and have some fun with that. And you know, it's kind of nice for me sometimes to just sit back and watch, and I kind of do that. And it was very competitive once again this year, and hats off to Coach Tyler Owens and Justin Roberts, J-Rob. Their team, the blue team, was the winner, so they'll eat steaks, and the rest of the guys will eat hot dogs this year.
How did you start doing that?
You know, we've been doing it for a long time. I'm not sure exactly what year we started it, but, you know, just trying to make it fun for the guys and at the same time make it competitive and put something on the line. So I'm not sure exactly what year we did, but we've been doing it a long time now.
Look, the spring was memorable with 41 victories, hosting an NCAA regional for the first time ever, getting one of those top 16 seeds. Those couple of games at J.I. Clements are ones that we're always going to remember, especially the atmosphere against Notre Dame that Saturday night after beating UNCG earlier that day. But taking that into the offseason, now that you've been in it for, it's been a little more than 4 months now, but what kind of momentum have you established inside this program?
Well, certainly it was a big step for our program, and you know, you can't say enough about the support we got from Eagle Nation. I mean, that atmosphere was electric, and you know, says so much about the support that we get here. But still, that's ultimately not where we want to go. I mean, the end goal ultimately is to try to get to the College World Series and Omaha. But certainly a big step for our program to be able to host for the first time last year. You know, the exposure that we got has certainly created a lot of momentum and more interest in our program, which always helps.
And it surely felt like the experience was something that could have stoked the coals for the project that's upcoming. I know that it hasn't been officially announced yet, but there's been a lot of work, a lot of renderings taking place about how you can improve J.I. Clements Stadium, the Wiggins building, and the experience that much more.
Yeah, I mean, we're really excited about what we're trying to do there, you know, with you know, future renovations to the Wiggins building and that area. And, you know, the fact that Dr. Barrero and Jared have that kind of vision for our program I'm as excited as I've ever been about the future of our program and the momentum that we have right now.
All right, having digested the Fall World Series from last weekend, what were some of the things that really stood out?
Well, it was competitive, and that's what you always want to see in the fall. Blake Evans had a big series. Scooter actually flashed a little power during the series with a grand slam, and then another 3-run triple in the third game. But I thought we played pretty good, pretty clean baseball for the most part during the 3 games, and again, more than anything else, just seeing both teams go out and compete. You saw even in the last game, the series had been decided in the first 2, but you witnessed the team come back from 5 down in the last inning to win it. So it depends on which side you're looking at. On one end, you're proud of the offense. On the other end, you're worried, well, how didn't we close it out? But the fact that guys continued to compete right up to that last out, those are the things that mean a lot to me as a coach.
Stick with Scooter for a minute. Have you told Blake Evans who Phil Rizzuto is? Do you think he would have any idea who that is?
I don't know. That's a good question. Probably not.
Another grand slam hit last weekend off of the bat of Jared Brown. We've seen him go deep several times over these last couple of years, but I know how much strength he added going into last year, and it looks like that's something he's really stressed going into this offseason too.
Yeah, JB had a great fall. He was hot as a firecracker right out of the gate. He came back down to earth a little bit there the last couple weeks and then got it going again and ended on a good note. And I think the case with him and a lot of guys, the importance of summer baseball in terms of development for our guys. And JB's a great example. He had a chance to go off and play in the Coastal Plains League again this past summer, and he came back a much improved player.
2 guys that had a chance to play in the Cape over the summer, Jalen Payton, and then Ben Johnson was an all-star. We know that he's worked with some of his pitches. He looks like he's put on a good bit of weight. Jalen looks bigger as well. Seems like whether those 2 are starters or relievers going into next year, they're going to be an important part of that staff.
Yeah, we saw improvement from both of those guys as well this fall. At the end of the season last year, Coach Batista was working on Ben, developing a split finger that he was starting to get a good feel for, and he was able to go to the Cape and I think really developed that pitch and came back with a lot of confidence this fall. Jalen, I think if you talk to Jalen, he was a little disappointed in kind of the way that the season ended last year and where he was. So to be able to go up to Katuitt in a place like the Cape against that kind of competition, again, was good for him. And, he was really good this fall. The stuff played really well in his outings. The command was better. So, again, just seeing those guys continue to progress and develop, and, now they're in their junior year. So we're looking to those guys for leadership on that pitching staff.
There were a number of new guys that performed very well last weekend. Cameron Crosby, a transfer into the program. Zach Harris, a live arm as a true freshman. If you would, bring up something about them and some of the other new guys we can expect to see going into 23.
Yeah, Cam Crosby, another Savannah Christian guy there with JB, and spent 2 years at East Georgia College. And, one of those guys, and I think we knew coming in what we had there as far as just the work ethic and the makeup, goes about his business the right way every day, and just a steady player, a solid defender that can play any of the 3 positions in the outfield. And he's fit in well to the program along with, several other guys that we brought in. And Zach Harris was probably the one freshman arm that stood out the most this fall. It's an electric arm, 94, 95, sometimes up to 96 miles an hour, and did a good job commanding, his stuff this fall. And a former high school quarterback. The makeup is really good.
Something about you guys and finding high school quarterbacks.
Hey, there's a lot to be said. I'm sure Coach Helton will tell you later on. You like those quarterbacks, but in terms of the makeup, the leadership, the competitiveness, I think he's made of the right stuff.
All right, we did this last week because Georgia Southern Athletics had the trick-or-treat over at the soccer field. We asked Coach Berg, Coach Howard, what their favorite Halloween costumes of all time were. Since it is Halloween, what was your favorite Halloween costume? I'm really anxious to hear the answer to this.
As a kid, I was a Captain America fan as a kid
Okay.
growing up. So I guess I would have to go with that. I'm talking when I was real young, probably 6, 7 years old.
Coach, we appreciate the time today. Congratulations on a successful fall practice. We are looking forward to the 2023 season. See what you guys are doing for North Corps. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Danny. Appreciate all you do for us.
That's head coach Rodney Hennon. Enters year Georgia Southern baseball coming up in the spring. It's all Eagle football when we come back from this timeout. Hail Southern live from Wild Wing Cafe after this on the Georgia Southern Sports Network, powered by Learfield.
You trained for this all year. Endless hours of cardio, conditioning, and weights. And now you are ready. Ready to trek back to your seat from the concession stand. Through the lines, lost fans, and that mascot who wants you to do a little dancey dance, all without spilling a drop of your ice-cold Bud Light. Welcome back to football, sports fans.
You need the best players. You need to keep them safe. And if they do get injured, you need the best occupational medicine services available to make sure that they're back in the game for you and your business. This is Leonard Bevel from Macon Occupational Medicine, and that's exactly what we've been doing for business and industries throughout Georgia since 1990. We outperform others by getting injured workers back to work quicker while maintaining the highest levels of customer satisfaction. The health of your business may depend on us. We're Macon Occupational Medicine.
Here's to the fans who show up for the game, finding their spot, staking their claim, towing the trailers, hauling the gear. A tradition of tailgating that happens each year. And here's to the truck they drive, the Ford F-150 truck. Power your tailgate like never before with an available ProPower onboard generator. For great offers, see your local Ford dealer today. Not all models, trims, or features may be available. Contact your dealer for more information.
Did you know that Yancey Rents is a Georgia-owned rental company serving Georgia since 1914? Yancey Rents has excavators, dozers, backhoe loaders, small dump trucks, water trucks, concrete saws, light towers, scissor lifts, and so much more. We've got a huge selection of equipment ready to be rented today. Call 844-YNC-RENT or check us out at yanceyrents.com. With 16 locations around the state and a new expanded lineup of equipment ready to be rented right now, Yancey Rents wants to be your preferred rental supplier in Georgia.
Eagle Nation, this is William Martin from Southern Exchange Company. We're proud to always bring you the best selection of Georgia Southern gear for game day and every day. Make sure to stop by and visit us at our store across from campus on Chandler Road or online at southernexchangecompany.com. Follow Southern Exchange on social media at SXC Statesboro for the latest gear in stock. Southern Exchange Company, the official merchandiser of Georgia Southern Athletics.
Optum Medical Center Tatnall, we know you're not yourself when even just one part of you is hurt. Optum Medical Center Tatnall in Reedsville provides Eagle Nation with the highest quality care in surgical, hospital, clinical, diagnostic, and therapeutic services. The physician-owned medical center has been named one of America's top 100 best hospitals for joint replacement and is a 5-star recipient for total hip replacement, total knee replacement, and spinal fusion surgery. For more information, visit OptumHealthSystem.com.
New vision, new identity, same battle cry.
Man, what a great day to be an Eagle. Mercy!
It's time to GATA.
Gerald Green outside the hash. 10, 5, bye-bye.
Jalen White, welcome the young bull all the way home.
Dougie Thompson, what a tackle at the 10-yard line. How much fun is he to watch?
Listen to Eagles football all season on the Georgia Southern Sports Network from Learfield.
Another season of women's and men's college sports is underway. Follow your alma mater or favorite team in their pursuit of the prestigious Learfield Directors Cup at L Directors Cup on Twitter and online at thedirectorscup.com. Trophies will be awarded in June 2023 to the winning institutions in all competitive divisions. Learfield Directors Cup, the crowning achievement in college athletics.
3rd and 2, gun snap, Wolf looking, corner out left side, incomplete. The pass was broken up at the 24, was Anthony Wilson. The heart and soul of the defense, batting that free of Spencer. It's 4th down with 7:29 left. Eagle fans, remember Morris Bank is the presenting sponsor of the 2022 football season. Make sure to remember to bank blue with Morris Bank. Bleed blue, bank blue. Morris Bank, member FDIC. As Hail Southern Live continues from Wild Wing Cafe in Statesboro, presented each week by Morris Bank on this Georgia Southern Sports Network powered by Learfield. Great stuff from head coach Rodney Hennon talking about Eagle baseball. And you might see a little bit more of Coach Hennon tomorrow on the most recent episode of the 40 Years of Unprecedented Excellence docuseries. Special episode tomorrow. The first time I met Coach Russell. You might see Coach Hennon as part of that episode if you tune in around noon tomorrow, with the newest episode to be released on gseagles.com, on YouTube, and on social media. We'll continue with Eagle football, coming off of a 28-23 victory 2 weeks ago in Norfolk against Old Dominion. 5-3 overall, 2-2 in conference play off the bye week. South Alabama in town this weekend, 4 o'clock at Paulson Stadium. Eagle Nation, welcome in head coach Clay Helton to Wild Wing Cafe in Statesboro. Well, people like to say you get a week off, but I don't think anybody would buy the fact that a bye week is a week off.
No, especially in the scenario that we're in, because you're looking at 2 games in 11 days. So one, we had to be proactive a little bit, having a team that had basically had 13 straight weeks of physical football, 5 weeks of training camp, 8 weeks, straight weeks of games. It was really important to get their bodies back, and so we put a lot into strength and conditioning. But we also got ahead, for the next game with South Alabama. And as a staff, we know the next week is even a shorter week with Lafayette. So to be able to look at 2 teams and be able to gauge what's in the future allowed us to not only get healthy from a football player standpoint, but to be able to do a little bit of game planning.
Coaches will tell us all the time that the game in front of you is the game that you've got to worry about, but knowing the Sun Belt having to be on national television and having a Thursday game after a Saturday game, like you mentioned, you'd like to say that everything goes into South, but there's got to at least be a little bit that preliminarily has to go into Louisiana.
Yeah, so we started on Sunday. We started this Sunday, and it's all South Alabama. But when you look at it, you have to be prepared after this game to at least have a semblance of somewhat of a game plan, because you'll play this game and then you're practicing Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday,
right?
And then you're on a plane to go to Lafayette. So to be able to be proactive and not just say, oh yeah, we're off this week. You better be doing everything you can to be able to help your football team win games as well as recruit. And so we took that approach as being very proactive, not only on the field with our football team, but also off the field in recruiting, and trying to get a little bit ahead. 2 games in 11 days doesn't happen very often, and if you just if you worry about that later on, it'll catch up with you.
I know you spent some time at the Macon Touchdown Club last week on Monday, but what else did you get accomplished on that bye week?
It's really important for us to evaluate ourselves, and that's what we did. If you look at what the week consisted of, one, it was self-evaluation, not only of the Old Dominion game, but all 8 games, especially the last 4, because that's what is scouted.
Right.
So it was opportunity to self-scout ourselves and see what opponents are looking at in all 3 phases, and be able to truly look ourselves in the mirror and say, hey, where's our area of growth at, and what are we doing pretty well. The second thing was to the rest and recovery of our players. To be able to give them strength and conditioning while still doing some functional football movement and schematically on the field, all we worked with South Alabama. Then it was proactiveness in game planning versus not only South Al, but being able to get at least a feel for what Lafayette will be, Louisiana Lafayette will be. And then finally, it's an unbelievable opportunity. All 10 coaches went out recruiting to physically see players, evaluate players, and to really, coaches are nice, but players are even better. When you have good players, usually win a lot of games. So we all got out on Thursday and Friday and had the opportunity to go recruit.
It's not just 8 straight weeks of the season so far with those 5 road trips, 2 of those back-to-back, but it's also the 5 weeks before that with fall camp. So you've been going at it 13 straight weeks, more than 3 months with pedal to the metal. So you always look into the season where does the bye week happen? Is it the right time? Is there a right time? But it felt like this time it couldn't have been better for this team.
Oh my goodness. I mean, especially coming off 2 really physically hard wins. You know, the James Madison game was a really physical game, and then you know you look at the Old Dominion game on the road, and you know the injuries we suffered in that game, as well as the bumps and bruises just over 8 weeks. It was good to be able to get that week of recovery, and now we've got 4 weeks in November. Have put ourselves in a great situation to compete for a championship, one game behind first, and also have some postseason possibilities. So we're excited about that.
I think about what you guys have put on film these last 2 games. A game against James Madison where you threw it 64 times for 578 yards, and then a game last week where, well, not last week, but the week before, you ran it 50 times for 223 yards. So for any defense in the league that feels like, oh, we finally have a beat on Georgia Southern, you stop Van Treese, you stop Georgia Southern, you kind of threw people a curveball against Old Dominion.
No, we've always said let's take what the defense gives us. And, when we played James Madison, we saw every snap was a zone pressure, it was one high coverage. And so it dictated throwing the ball.
Right.
And last week was drop 8, and just they wanted to see if we'd be disciplined enough to keep handing it to 25 and 4 and see what we would do with that offensive line. And you look up, and it's a plus 200-yard rush day and a really, really veteran-like day by Kyle. 22 of 27, protected the ball, threw a touchdown to Amari. Really a professional-type day for him.
Before we hit the first time out, I'd be remiss if we didn't bring up the comments you made about Amari earlier today on not just the teleconference but also over at the FOC. We knew that it was announced that he was done for the year because of an internal injury. You went into a little bit more detail about that today. But how has this team taken that as a rallying point with 4 big ones coming up to end the season?
Yeah, well, obviously, not only you can't replace an Amari Jones, just what he brought to us, not only from a productivity standpoint, especially in the last couple games, but also just his practice habits are elite. And he really trained a bunch of young people in his last year here. Hey, this is how you compete. This is how you practice. This is what it looks like to be a pro. And he's going to play on Sundays.
Yeah.
He's got such a bright future, but he did so much for us. And now it's that opportunity for Caleb and Derwin and Jeremy, who have been doing a terrific job, to even have a bigger and larger role, not only in practice but in games. Those are 3 good horses. A lot of people just hope they have one horse. We have 3 really good ones, and we've got some young ones that are on the cusp of, really. You saw Marcus Sanders in the James Madison game.
Sure.
Especially down the stretch there, and Kyle goes to the rookie twice in that last drive on key downs. A Dalen Cobb is coming on. Josh Dallas has played in games. So we're really excited about the future of that position with the young guys. And now here's our opportunity to be able to prepare and be ready to go in when needed.
We'll have more with head coach Clay Helton following this timeout from Wild Wing Cafe in Statesboro. This is Hail Southern Live, presented by Morris Bank on the Georgia Southern Sports Network, powered by Learfield.
Eagle Nation, this is William Martin from Southern Exchange Company. We're proud to always bring you the best selection of Georgia Southern gear for game day and every day. Make sure to stop by and visit us at our store across from campus on Chandler Road or online at southernexchangecompany.com. Follow Southern Exchange on social media at SXC Statesboro for the latest gear in stock. Southern Exchange Company, the official merchandiser of Georgia Southern Athletics.
Hey Eagle Nation, it's Stacy Underwood from Uncle Shook's Barbecue Place at 434 South Main Street right here in Statesboro. We're proud to be a partner of Georgia Southern football in this new era and want to wish Coach Helton luck in his first year. Remember, game day isn't complete without some Uncle Shook's favorites like our slow-cooked barbecue pork, juicy and tender beef brisket, and fall-off-the-bone smoked ribs. Add some of our made-from-scratch sides and you'll be a winner at the tailgate. Place an order online at UncleShooks.com. Go Eagles!
Did you know that Yancey Rents is a Georgia-owned rental company serving Georgia since 1914? Yancey Rents has excavators, dozers, backhoe loaders, small dump trucks, water trucks, concrete saws, light towers, scissor lifts, and so much more. We've got a huge selection of equipment ready to be rented today. Call 844-YNC-RENT or check us out at yanceyrents.com. With 16 locations around the state and a new expanded lineup of equipment ready to be rented right now, Yancey Rents wants to be your preferred rental supplier in Georgia.
You choose the combination, and they'll cook it in their 500-degree brick oven in just a few minutes. Your own delicious pizza experience using only the freshest ingredients on hand-tossed dough and individually sized just for you. And that Eagle Nation is why they're called Your Pie, because it's all about you. The Your Pie in Statesboro and downtown Savannah is owned and operated by Joe Hunt, a Georgia Southern grad. So when you order your next pizza, be true blue and make it all about you. Go see Joe at Your Pie, and I guarantee it, you'll be glad you did.
University Store is built for game day. As the official store of Georgia Southern University, we have the largest selection of officially licensed hats, polos, tees, tanks, tumblers, signs, bobbleheads, and more. Every Eagle, young and old, can find their favorite Georgia Southern merchandise at our Armstrong and Statesboro campus stores. As part of the university, we support student success by investing our profits back into scholarships, facility improvements, and programs on each campus. Visit our stores today or shop 24/7 at gsustore.com.
You trained for this all year. Endless hours of cardio, conditioning, and weights. And now you are ready. Ready to trek back to your seat from the concession stand. Through the lines, lost fans, and that mascot who wants you to do a little dancey dance, all without spilling a drop of your ice-cold Bud Light. Welcome back to football, sports fans.
Powered by Learfield, this is the Georgia Southern Sports Network. Welcome back to Hail Southern Live, presented by Morris Bank.
Legs up, Eagle Nation! Touchdown, Georgia Southern!
Make sure to tweet your questions to @GS Sports Network. Now let's return live from Wild Wing Cafe in Statesboro. Once again, here's the voice of the Eagles, Danny Reed.
Back once more from Wild Wing Cafe in Statesboro on the Georgia Southern Sports Network, powered by Learfield. This is Hail Southern Live as we're getting you set for Georgia Southern in South Alabama this weekend at Audi Paulson Stadium. 4 o'clock is the kickoff. Will be on the air at 2 p.m. with the Cutwater Spirits tailgate show featuring Frank, Russ, and Terry. Georgia Southern goes into the matchup 5-3, back-to-back league victories, has them in 2-2 in conference play. South Alabama took care of Arkansas State last weekend in Jonesboro 31-3. They are bowl eligible for the first time since 2016. They're a 6-2 squad under head coach Kane Womack, and they are 3-1 in the Sun Belt. Coach, a guy that we're going to have up next segment, offensive lineman Brian Miller's been through a lot over the course of his career, but to be settled in at that very important left tackle position, he's had to protect Kyle Van Treese's blind side for roughly 300 pass attempts this year. How valuable has he been to this offense?
Oh, my goodness. Just veteran leadership, pros pro. And imagine doing it all and having a club on your right hand. Block some of the best pass protectors in pass rushers in college football within this league, and he's doing it with one hand. It speaks a lot. I know that he gets the club off this week, which I think we're all celebrating.
Oh, that's huge.
And that whole offensive line, just that veteran leadership between Brian and Khalil and Logan and Caleb Kelly. They've even brought a young rookie along in Pishon, 2 sacks on the year right now, and they're really doing a nice job of protecting Kyle, and he protects that blind side and doing a wonderful job of it. And not only a great player, he's even a better man.
We were filing into the FOC today for your weekly press conference, but looking down to the Field of Dreams, it's Logan getting an extra work, Pishon's getting an extra work, Aaron Pyron was down getting an extra work. To see so many guys that are not just dedicated to winning, but day in, day out, dedicated to improving their craft, that's got to be really pleasing.
Yeah, I always say, culture is driven by players, and to have the type of guys that we have that have an extreme work ethic and want to be masters of their craft is special. It makes coaching easy. It's one of the joys of this job is you have some guys that, they're so selfless as far as the team and wanting to be able to be at their best for the team goals, and they know where they stand. They're 4 games away from having a chance maybe to compete for a conference title, and every game is so critical, and those guys show up to work each and every day. I don't think they take a day off ever.
You were here for the final month of the 2021 season. In fact, we're coming up on nearly a year to the day from when you first arrived in Statesboro. How much has changed?
Well, I think I love I love it. It all starts with people. One, you surround yourself with great people, great things are going to happen. It starts with the staff and men that are men of character that know how to coach at the highest level. They're competent and knowledgeable enough to develop young men. They care about them, and they're brutally honest with them. They don't kiss their butts. They coach them and coach them hard. And then you got to bring in players that are not only talented but accept coaching, and they're competitive. And I'll steal Brian Berg's quote that I absolutely love. They don't like the game. They don't love the game. They live the game, like you saw. Every day they live it. And so you surround yourself with great people. Then you establish great culture. And that culture has to be culture of accountability and discipline each day, and a standard that's lived up to each day. And these kids have fought like heck to live up to that standard. And I'm appreciative of them because they truly put the team over self. I'm as proud of their mental maturity for the game and discipline of the game. You don't see this team getting a lot of unnecessary discipline penalties or immature penalties. Obviously we want to improve each and every game, fundamental and technique wise, but they have a maturity about them that they put the team over themselves, and I appreciate that as their coach.
What is it like for you when they have that light bulb moment where it all starts to click?
It's fun, and you see it. It's like that. I mean, it's like a Marcus Sanders that all of a sudden you get in James Madison game, top 25 game. It's 3rd and 5, and Kyle Ventrese looks over there and signals him around, and I go, oh my God, he's looking at this rookie. He's changing the call just for him. There's that trust that the quarterback has. There's that light bulb moment, and then comes right back and catches a dig route. That's an explosive play in that drive too. He makes 2 big plays. So you see that and you go, man, there it is for that kid. And so there are those light bulb moments for each and every player, and it's evident. You see it, and you're proud to see it. You work hard to get them there.
Russ made a really good point during one of our post-game breaks after the Old Dominion game 2 weeks ago. He said, it's amazing how much things have changed since being down 14-0 after the first play of the second quarter against James Madison. And I thought about it, he's usually right on about a lot of things, but I don't know, he couldn't have been more spot on about that.
Yeah, one of the things that, one of the reasons we went to this offensive system is we never feel like we're out of a game.
Yeah.
We always feel like we're never in a point that if let's say we started a little bit slow and we're a touchdown or 2 touchdowns down, we never feel out of the game. There's a confidence that, one, we have a really good quarterback. We have an offensive line that's protecting him. We can run and throw the ball, so you never feel out of it. And these kids' demeanor is kind of, all right, so what, now what? That happened, so what? Now what are we going to do about it? And so that's something that I appreciate about them. They have a mental toughness about them that it's not what happens to you, it's how you react from it. And they've done a wonderful job this season in doing that.
There was a question that came up earlier today at the press conference at the FOC. Last year was last year. 3-9 is something that we don't want to have to relive again, but this is still a group largely consisting of guys that have played in at least a couple of bowl games. Mm-hmm. Some were part of that 10-win season back in 2018. You bring in a Kyle who played for a MAC championship a couple of years ago. Waylon was part of 2 double-digit win seasons at Fresno. Jalen Denton was part of a 10-win season last year at Ole Miss. How can all of that success help fuel you over these final 4 games?
Well, we challenged our bets. We challenged 3 groups on Sunday. One is the guys that have this as their last year of eligibility. This is their opportunity in these last 4 regular season games to leave a legacy of what it means to finish the job, and what it means to get to a championship game, to postseason play. It is that middle group of the Jalen Whites and the Derwin Burgesses, those sophomore and juniors, those next ones up in the leadership role, to be able to watch and be able to them start building their own leadership model. Yeah. And then it's the rookie's job and the younger kid's job to fight like heck. All 134 men, those men that chose to stay behind for what give up 1 year of their life, Justin Ellis, Dylan Springer, Todd Bradley Glenn, Logan Limeyer, those guys that even Brian Miller, who's already married, already got his degree, could have 3 degrees by the time he leaves here. They chose to be here and share in a part of a vision. And it's our job as not only coaches but young players to be able to help them with that vision, no matter what your role is.
I think Brian gets that option at a 7th year, too, if he wants it.
No, there's no question. I'm recruiting him right now. We all need to recruit.
Eagle football is brought to you in part by Georgia Power. Irk Russell said that our offense is called the Georgia Power Company, and now Georgia Power would like to help you save on your power bill. Visit georgiapower.com to learn more about becoming more energy efficient and saving with their handy energy efficiency tips. We'll talk with 6-year offensive lineman Brian Miller right here in Savannah, Georgia. We'll come back to Wild Wing Cafe in just a moment. This is Hail Southern Live, brought to you by Morris Bank on the Georgia Southern Sports Network, powered by Learfield.
Here's to the fans who show up for the game, finding their spot, staking their claim, towing the trailers, hauling the gear. A tradition of tailgating that happens each year. And here's to the truck they drive, the Ford F-150 truck. Power your tailgate like never before with an available ProPower onboard generator. For great offers, see your local Ford dealer today. Not all models, trims, or features may be available. Contact your dealer for more information.
Optum Medical Center Tatnall, we know you're not yourself when even just one part of you is hurt. Optum Medical Center Tatnall in Reedsville provides Eagle Nation with the highest quality care in surgical, hospital, clinical, diagnostic, and therapeutic services. The physician-owned medical center has been named one of America's top 100 best hospitals for joint replacement and is a 5-star recipient for total hip replacement, total knee replacement, and spinal fusion surgery. For more information, visit OptumHealthSystem.com.
You trained for this all year. Endless hours of cardio, conditioning, and weights. And now you are ready. Ready to trek back to your seat from the concession stand. Through the lines, lost fans, and that mascot who wants you to do a little dancey dance. All without spilling a drop of your ice-cold Bud Light. Welcome back to football, sports fans.
At Tidewater Equipment Company in Brooklyn, we understand how important every hour is when you're farming. We have an exceptional parts and service department, an extensive used equipment inventory, and we are exclusive distributors of Case IH tractors, planters, sprayers, combines, and more. We're here for everything you need when it comes to agriculture. Visit Tidewater in Brooklyn or online at TidewaterEquip.com, your premier Case IH tractor dealer. To those who work in acres, not ours, we thank you.
You need the best players. You need to keep them safe. And if they do get injured, you need the best occupational medicine services available to make sure that they're back in the game for you and your business. This is Leonard Bevel from Macon Occupational Medicine, and that's exactly what we've been doing for business and industries throughout Georgia since 1990. We outperform others by getting injured workers back to work quicker while maintaining the highest levels of customer satisfaction. The health of your business may depend on us. We're Macon Occupational Medicine.
Your one-stop for all college sports is the Varsity app and the brand new Varsity Network website, thevarsitynetwork.com. Keep up with your favorite teams and the rest of college sports, no matter where you are, with thevarsitynetwork.com. Live and on-demand broadcasts, your favorite college-centric podcasts, with stories and video around college sports and your favorite teams. Be sure to download the Varsity app and check out the brand new Varsity Network website, thevarsitynetwork.com.
Eagle Nation, are you ready?
Stop, reverse layup goes, and the foul. He cuts over the baseline, he dunked it right on top of Talbot. Oh, come on, Kamari. Don't hurt him.
Eagles basketball returns Tuesday, November 8th at San Jose State.
It's a run out for Archie. Here he comes. Two-handed dunk. Oh, what a moment. This place explodes.
Hail Southern all season long on the Georgia Southern Sports Network.
Got my nachos, got my big TV, and my favorite chair. It's game time. But you know, the only thing that would make it a little better is if I could listen to my local broadcasters while watching the game.
Hello. You must have wished for your game to be synced with TV and radio.
I sure did.
Do you have a DVR?
You bet.
Do you have a streaming device?
Yeah.
Blammo! Your game is now synced. It's that easy.
Oh, boy.
To see if you can get synced, head to syncmygame.com from Learfield.
Syncmygame.com?
Syncmygame.com.
Three receivers to the far side near the Eagle bench. The snap to Van Treese on 3rd and 4. Give to Gerald Green. Breaks a tackle. Gerald inside the 20. Bye-bye, Gerald. Wings up, Eagle Nation. Touchdown, Georgia Southern. Eagles there to celebrate with him. It's 20-10 as Green busted off the left side for an Eagle 6. Season tickets for Georgia Southern basketball on sale. Remember, for the men, it's 16 home games this year, most home games in 3 decades. For the women, their first home game is 1 week from today. They'll have Allen in town, 7 o'clock tip next Monday night, 6:30 air at Hennon Fieldhouse as Anita Howard begins her 4th season. Call 1-800-GSU-WINS to get your basketball season tickets. For the women, they start as low as $50. For the men, they start at $100. You can also visit gseagles.com/tickets for more information leading into the 2022 Georgia Southern basketball season. As Hail Southern Live continues on the Georgia Southern Sports Network, powered by Learfield, brought to you each week by Morris Bank. You just heard one of 2 Gerald Green touchdown runs from that second half of the victory against Old Dominion from 2 weeks ago. He finishes with 92 yards. We bring up that 30-yard touchdown run on 3rd and 4 because it happened thanks to the blocking of the guy sitting to my left. Eagle Nation, welcome one of the truly good guys in the Georgia Southern football program, offensive tackle Brian Miller to Wild Wing Cafe.
Thank you, thank you.
To know that you could have an impact on the game like you guys did, 50 carries, 223 yards, to win a tight road game, what did that mean to the offensive line?
Oh, man, it felt amazing to be able to run the ball like that and just, open up the holes for our backs to run through. It was just an amazing experience.
Now, Coach Helton did mention that you've been on the mend a little bit. You were playing hurt for a few weeks, but looking at the injured wing, it looks like you might finally be back in full go. What's the update?
Oh, yeah, so I'll be able to come out my cast this week. I went, the first half of the season, being in the cast. I mean, it was all right. I dealt with it. Had to do whatever it takes to help the team win. So, but it'll be good to come out the cast now.
Having to be the left tackle to protect Kyle Van Treese, but not having full use of that inside arm, how do you adjust to that as a left tackle?
Just making sure I'm, always staying square, especially on my pass sets. And I was able to use, a couple of my fingers, be able to grab a little bit, but make sure I'm getting that left hand in there, just holding it tight and tight elbows.
We had Logan Langmeyer on this year talking about new coach Richard Owens. He raved about him, that he would run through a wall for him. You get a chance to play on that offensive line as well, so what's it been like having Coach Owens as your new position coach?
Oh, it's been amazing. Since day one, we've been putting in so much work as an offensive line, like, from the winter workouts to spring, summer workouts. After every workout, it was the whole offensive line, not just the 5 guys, the whole entire offensive line. We outside doing drills, getting extra work in, going through different blitzes and stuff like that. So we've been putting in a lot of work since he's first gotten here, and it's showing up on film.
We talked with Coach a little bit last segment about guys that were around for the multiple bowl games and being able to play for bowl championships. You, of course, got here in 17, redshirted that first year when you made the switch from D-line to O-line, but you were a starter. You started all 13 games that 2018 season. Eagles won 10 games, got to the Camellia Bowl, won in dramatic fashion against Eastern Michigan. How much does this year feel like that year?
Oh, it's remotely close. I mean, just the difference is the work ethic of the guys and the guys who really want it. And it's a lot of, this is a real old team.
Yeah.
So this team knows how to win. And then the coaching staff that was brought in is just a plus for us.
I think it's 17 college graduates that are on this team. You've got your degree already. You've been a multiple-time honor roll guy, I think 3 times honor roll over the last 3 seasons. We talked with Coach as well. You've got an option for a 7th year. If you want that 7th year, you could come back for that 7th year.
I'm coming back.
Oh, you
for sure.
You already coming back?
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm coming back. Yeah.
We don't get to break news a whole lot on Hail Southern Live, so that's a good thing. Getting a victory against Old Dominion 2 weeks ago, a road victory, those have been tough to come by these last couple of years. But to get back to 500 in league play, but also know that you're within a game of first place in the division with the destiny potentially in your hands. How meaningful is that?
Oh, it's there. But our biggest thing was that it's just starting to play better and get better games in on the road, and stuff like that.
When you saw that Old Dominion was going to defend you guys like they did with a lot of 3-man fronts, sometimes it was 2 linebackers, sometimes it was 1 linebacker, sometimes it wasn't any linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like for an offensive line to see so few people around the line of scrimmage to be able to establish that run game like that?
I mean, going into that game, what we were seeing on film was, a lot of 4 down and stuff like that. A lot of pressures too. But, once we got in the game, they had drop 8, and we were just going against 3 down linemen. So at that point, our whole mentality changed to where if we want to win this ball game, we're going to have to run the ball. Have to.
Did it feel like UAB all over again?
Oh yeah, yeah. And we know, we let that game slip out of our hands, and it's just, we had to come out and just ready to play, and knowing that if we wanted to win this game, like I said, we was gonna have to run the ball and average 5 yards a carry.
Tempo-wise, Georgia Southern is running 79 plays per game, and the last few years, it was an act of Congress to run 65 plays per game. But now that you guys are getting that many more snaps for an offensive lineman, what's the biggest change associated with that?
Oh, just the tempo, and it helps us a lot because, when we're going fast, it kind of slows the defense down and getting their play calls in, and we can just go. And then when we're going like that, the offense just flows well, and then we're able to do a lot more things with tempo.
To have to train yourself to go from huddling and snapping the ball with about 5 or 10 seconds on the play clock to now snapping it with 25 to 30 on the play clock, where's the biggest shift when you're speaking about that?
Just knowing to get down and get set fast and being able to see the defense, even if they're not set, you just kind of just go with your base rules of the play, you know what I'm saying? And the biggest thing is just getting down, getting set fast, and making sure you be able to see pressures and stuff coming off the edge or through the middle.
I know how much that Kyle knows about this offense, very similar to what he ran back in high school, but to be on the field with somebody that has the ability to check almost every play if he wants to, but to know that somebody can innately get you into the right play more often than not, what is that like?
Oh, that's amazing. Having somebody like Kyle back there, obviously he's an older guy.
Yeah.
And sometimes he'll see things before we see it, and he'll just check out of the play and get us in a better situation.
All right, we've only got about a minute or so left before we get Coach Helton back up here, but one thing that I have not had a chance to ask you about, but I've always been curious about, how did you get into gaming? Because you're all over social media with that. How did you get to be a gamer?
Oh, man, I've been gaming since I was about 5 or 6 years old. My dad bought me my first Xbox. It was the original one, the big one with the huge controller, the Duke. So, yeah, I've been gaming for a long time, and it's just stuck with me. It's just something I do as a hobby, outside of football, just to relieve and just enjoy myself.
What was the first game you got into?
Madden.
Okay.
Very first game was Madden.
You have a YouTube channel for gaming?
YouTube and Twitch. I stream from time to time. Not really doing it right now. Really just focus on the season and stuff like that. But I'll probably get back into it in December. Close to Christmas time.
Okay. When the off season hits, what's the game that you're going to be playing the most?
Oh, Call of Duty, for sure. Call of Duty.
Ryan, it's been really nice getting to watch you grow ever since 2017. Hopefully get a chance to do it next year, but a lot of business to take place the rest of this season. Thanks very much for the time tonight.
I appreciate you.
Offensive lineman Brian Miller, Savannah, Georgia native, Memorial Day. He is coming back for his 7th season. We'll bring Coach Helton back up one more time, talk about South Alabama in our final segment. This is Hail Southern Live from Wild Wing Cafe in Statesboro on the Georgia Southern Sports Network, powered by Learfield.
Is slow internet slowing you down? Having trouble connecting to all your technology needs? Bullock Solutions has the solution for you. With a 100% fiber optic high-speed network, Bullock Solutions provides modern services with the latest technologies available in the industry. Need security options for your new home? Bullock Solutions has got you covered with state-of-the-art video surveillance and smart technology to give you the peace of mind you deserve. Bullock Solutions has internet and technology packages to meet every need. Visit us at bullock.solutions today.
Nothing kicks off your game better than a handful of Georgia peanuts. Power packed with protein, essential nutrients, and great taste. Georgia peanuts are the MVP for affordability, sustainability, and nutrition. To score life's touchdowns with recipes and fun facts, check out GAPeanuts.com. The perfectly powerful peanut is brought to you by the family farmers of the Georgia Peanut Commission.
Peanut! Get your peanut!
You understand that it's not just grand gestures that can change someone's life. It's consistency, doing the same thing every day for a long, long time. At Georgia Southern, we believe it's you, our annual giving donors, doing more than just impacting the bottom line. You're impacting students filled with big dreams and the desire to change the world. Our mission is to make them ready to make those dreams real, and your gift makes it possible. Because of you, they are ready. Visit georgiasouthern.edu/give to make a difference.
For many years, you've heard that Knox knocks them out. Well, that's because it's true. The Knox family has been serving yours for over 85 years. Just like the Eagles on the field, the Knox experts respond with speed. In addition to their soonest possible same or next day service, your satisfaction is 100% guaranteed with pest, termite, mosquito, wildlife, and bed bug control. To learn more about how Knox knocks them out, head over to knoxpest.com or call 877-KNOX-PEST.
You need the best players. You need to keep them safe. And if they do get injured, you need the best occupational medicine services available to make sure that they're back in the game for you and your business. This is Leonard Bevel from Macon Occupational Medicine, and that's exactly what we've been doing for business and industries throughout Georgia since 1990. We outperform others by getting injured workers back to work quicker while maintaining the highest levels of customer satisfaction. The health of your business may depend on us. We're Macon Occupational Medicine.
Talent inspired. Hi, this is Terry Harvin, and I firmly believe that those are two words that should describe your company's starting lineup of employees. If they don't, then you need to reach out to my friends at Select Source Staffing. Talent inspired since 1997, Select Source is owned by a proud Georgia Southern grad. They're solution-minded and truly understand that no two companies and no two employees are the same. So whether you're looking to hire someone or you're searching for a new opportunity for yourself, explore Select Source and check out their postings at selectsource.com.
Powered by Learfield, this is the Georgia Southern Sports Network. Welcome back to Hail Southern Live, presented by Morris Bank.
Legs up, Eagle Nation! Touchdown, Georgia Southern!
Make sure to tweet your questions to @GS Sports Network. Now let's return live from Wild Wing Cafe in Statesboro. Once again, here's the voice of the Eagles, Danny Reed.
About 5 minutes left in this week's edition of Hail Southern Live on the Georgia Southern Sports Network, powered by Learfield. Thankfully, the Eagles are back home this weekend for Hall of Fame weekend and salute to service. Georgia Southern, South Alabama, 4 o'clock to kick at Folsom Stadium. We're live at 2 o'clock here on the Georgia Southern Sports Network. No road trip this weekend, but it's always a good time to bring up Savannah Hilton International Airport and the Savannah Airport Commission. Visit them online at flysav.com before your next trip. Eagles will be hopping a bird the following Wednesday for a Thursday night matchup at Cajun Field against Louisiana. We'll talk about that one next week, but for now, these Jaguars have not just one of the best defenses nationally, but they have developed into one of the best overall teams this league has to offer.
Yeah, you know, you look at this team 6-2 on the year, and the two losses are one to a top 25 UCLA in a one-score game, and then a one-score physical war against Troy, who's leading the other half of the division. So they have not quality wins, but they also are a team that put themselves in each and every game. They are such a total team, offensively, defensively, special teams. You're playing a top 25 defense that is very, very athletic. It reminds me a lot of the James Madison game. The athleticism that they have at defense at all the positions. They can get to the ball. They can do multiple fronts, 3-4, 4 down, multiple coverages. And offensively, I'm a big fan of Major Applewhite, what he brings to the table, his offensive mind. He's got a quarterback that's playing really good football right now and that can process information. He's terrific in the RPO game. This will be a great challenge for us. This is two teams that are in the exact same position, both playing really good football, and both are one game back in their side of the division, fighting as hard as they can in November to go try to win a conference championship.
That Jaguar defense will come into Statesboro, 4th in the country defending the run. Granted, JMU came in number 1 in the country defending the run a couple of weeks ago. Number 6 in the country in turnover margin. Number 8 in third down defense. Number 15 in total defense. Number 16 in scoring defense. But I got to harken back to what we talked about earlier. Back-to-back games of, okay, is it 64 passes? Is it 50 runs? You've basically given them, you've got to figure out a way to stop both of those potentially.
Yeah, definitely. The last game definitely helped us be able to show that we're committed to taking what the defense gives us. And it also show, I think Brian and the offensive staff do a phenomenal job of being able to diagnose what's going on in a game and be able to get to what we need to get to. And so being able to adapt within game is part of being a great play caller, and Brian's doing a wonderful job of that.
South Alabama has the bonus of having an established running game for maybe the first time in their FBS tenure. LaDamian Webb was just named Offensive Player of the Week earlier today. He goes for 163 and 3 touchdowns in Jonesboro. First play of the game, he goes for 69 yards, but it was the way that he ended the game. Their final drive took more than 7 minutes, 11 straight carries, 52 yards, and he finished it off with a 3-yard touchdown.
Yeah, definitely. They're a physical style of offense that really thrives in that run game and then puts the ball on the perimeter in the RPO, and then will max protection, play action, and throw it deep. And they have skill across the board offensively. They are a hard offense to defend. It's really a chess match with them, to be honest with you, of when you need to load the box, when you need to play coverage, and get bouncing in and out. So they challenge you, both sides of the ball. Thank goodness we're in Paulson. That's always that extra benefit of that 12th man being right there and helping us out. The fans, the alumni, the students. It's a reason we've been undefeated in Paulson is our fan base. We need everybody out there. We need them to be loud.
Well, the push the last week or so has been to sell out Paulson Stadium. You can get your tickets for this weekend, 1-800-GSU-WINS or gseagles.com/tickets, trying to sell out Paulson for this all-important interdivision matchup between Georgia Southern and South Alabama. It is also Hall of Fame weekend. Yes. 7 Hall of Famers are being enshrined from the Georgia Southern football perspective. Taz Dixon, Alex Mash, David Young, all going to get their plaques coming up during the banquet on Friday night. And it's also salute to service, something that always hits close to home for Georgia Southern.
Yeah, definitely. You know, to be able to honor those that have provided, the men and women that have provided our freedom to play the game we love, to have the opportunity to honor them and then honor the greats that have laid the foundation and tradition of excellence that is Georgia Southern. What a special day. That's why every Eagle needs to come out and pack that stadium. Let's honor the great people in our lives, both as soldiers as well as the greats that have been on the field, and come help us win a football game.
One thing that we probably should cover before we close out tonight, it hasn't just been Georgia Southern's ability to score in the red zone, 9th in the country in red zone offense, 32 out of 34 possessions, but also 10th in the country in red zone defense. You guys have 9 red zone stops in the last 6 games. Some short field goals have been mixed in, but despite some yards being gained, more often than not, it seems that defense has been able to stand tall when their backs are against the wall.
It's really been our area of growth, and I thought in the last 2 games especially, we've been able to get to the quarterback and affect the quarterback with pass rush, whether that was 4-man rush or bringing pressure. You know, yards were made by James Madison, but when we got to the red zone, we were able to create turnovers. And you look at that game, 4 turnovers, 3 sacks. Last game, not as many sacks, but you look at the third down efficiency and being able to get the quarterback off his spot and affecting him. 2 of 11 on third down in last week's and 2 weeks ago in that game. And they kicked field goals rather than touchdowns. It really was a difference in the game, a 5-point game.
Georgia Southern hosting South Alabama this weekend. Salute to service, Hall of Fame weekend. Let's sell out Paulson. Coach Helton, thanks very much for the time. 1-0 this week one more time.
Appreciate it.
For head coach Clay Helton, for offensive tackle Brian Miller, and for head baseball coach Rodney Hennon, Danny Reed signing off from Wild Wing Cafe. Get to Paulson this weekend. We'll kick it off at 4 against South Alabama, live on the radio at 2 p.m. right here on the Georgia Southern Sports Network, powered by Learfield.